Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to UCA's online public lecture. My name is Shaukat Ali Khan, and I am the Chief Information Officer at the University of Central Asia. I hope every one of you and your families are fine in this challenging situation. Today, we have an interesting topic, collaboration between humans and robots. And I am privileged to introduce our today's speaker, Tansu Yegen, who is an expert and international speaker in this domain. Mr. Yan started his professional career in 1991 at Digital Equipment. Between the years 1994 and 1998, he worked as the marketing and sales manager at Hewlett-Packard, HP. In 1998, he was transferred to Microsoft Turkey, where he worked for 7 years as the deputy general manager. From 2005 to 2007, Mr. Yan served as the general manager of Apple IMC. From 2007 to 2011, he held several positions at Turkcell, including CEO of Turkcell Ukraine and Germany and board member of Turkcell Belarus. Mr. Yan joined IBM Turkey in 2011 as the country general manager for IBM Global Business Services, followed by his position as vice president for mobile business in Samsung Electronics. Tansu Yegen has joined UiPath as of August 2019 and is currently the Vice President of Europe in charge of 30 countries, including Central Asian countries, East Europe, Israel, and Turkey. In 2008, he was selected as the most successful CEO in Europe by Stevie Awards. Mr. Yan holds a master's degree in contemporary business management from the Marmara University. Please welcome Mr. Tansu Yegen.
Thank you so much for participating to this presentation. So it's my honor to share with you some of the things that we are doing and some of the knowledge that I have, and as well the direction that we see the countries are and the world is going, especially after the COVID story. So before I start, thank you very much for the nice introduction. So I really wanted to be in the country in Kyrgyzstan, but I couldn't do because of the current environment. But I look forward to not only to coming to Kyrgyzstan, but to Tajikistan and hopefully to Kazakhstan as well, where the university has other campuses, I think, including Afghanistan. I'm the vice president for UiPath, as I've been introduced. So I worked as well, like close to 4 years in Ukraine, managing the third largest operator. And I was the board member of another operator in Belarus. And now I am as well, I feel myself I'm very lucky to being able to manage these countries again. Before I start, I want to share with you, and before we dive in everything, I want to share with you what I'm going to talk as part of my presentation. So I'll be talking a lot about artificial intelligence. I will be talking about what our robots are doing and what does it mean for all of you and for all of us, and then how the COVID has affected and how what we see when we are progressing through all the COVID to the post era. So we all know first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, third industrial revolution. But actually, while we have been talking about the fourth one, the definition of the fifth one is already circulating if you Google into internet. And the definition of the fifth industrial revolution is the era where humans and robots are going to work together. So that's the reason why I put the name of my presentation as collaboration between robots and humans. So the fourth industrial revolution has been defined in many different ways, but one thing is sure. So connected devices are there, big data is there, changing demographics are there, digital transformation still lasting for so many years, and then AI summer and robotics and business process optimization. Let me talk a little bit about all of them in the upcoming presentations. But what I can tell you is, being in this industry and having worked with all those reputable companies, and having worked with admired leaders like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and even in Samsung, directly reporting to the head of Samsung at one point of time. I'm sorry, this poll is appearing on my screen. I think it doesn't. Okay, now it's secured. It has been for me an amazing thing to understand which direction technology is moving. And I talked to many CEOs, not only in Turkey, but in majority of the countries. And I can tell you, there is one thing 100%. Whichever company buys a technology, they buy only for one thing, in order to be speedy, in order to gain speed and acceleration, to be ahead of the competition, okay? And this is why connected devices, big data, AI, business processes, and digital transformation are the most talked technologies by all the leaders. So if you look to what has happened all through these journeys, internet, when it appeared, so it destroyed borders, mobile destroyed taxis, cloud first destroyed blockbusters. And we have seen all these technologies have been adapted very quickly by the enterprises. Now we see very clearly, not it is because our job or our business, we see that automation first is picking up at all fronts. Why? Because it's all about processes. Actually, what we have been doing so far, and we are always doing when we talk about digital transformation, is we are accelerating our processes. If our processes got accelerated, then our company goes into acceleration mode. There are like 4 things which the businesses are trying to do, and it is valid for all kind of businesses on this planet. All the businesses are trying to increase their revenue and decrease their costs. Yes. The second one is they are trying to increase the customer satisfaction. They are trying, third one, they're trying to increase their employee satisfaction, employee engagement. And then the fourth one is they are trying to be compliant. So this 4 is like the ultimate objective of all companies on this planet. But having said this, all the companies have different strategy in order to realize these four potential targets. So they either bet on new technologies, some of them bet on human resources, etc. So if we look, so that was the thing what I mentioned. So then what has happened is the following. I have to confess the following. Until year 2000, I was not bringing any work into home. And I was not working during the night, or I was not working during the weekends. I was not working even during the holidays. But what has happened now? I mean, we all don't understand. I mean, something has been happening. All the artificial intelligence there, all the robots are there, all very fast mobile phones are in our hands. And somehow we started working more and more, actually. So we started working over the weekends. We started working during our holidays. Sometimes when I lay like under the sun and, in the holiday, so next to me are my family, and, I try to look at my mobile phone. Then I see, oh, there are hundreds of messages, but some of the 3 are so important. I'm a showstopper for these things to progress. But I know if I respond to these emails, then this day of my holiday is going to finish. And we all are constantly generating visit times for our businesses for each other. So what I do is among us, I usually respond to that kind of emails during the evening, so that once my family goes to bed, I can continue responding to these emails. So I'm trying to make up time in order for the work which has been generated for me extra. So everything has started over the time. So when we go back to like 10,000 years, actually, once there was a stone which has been like shaped, etc., the businesses started. And I'll show you a video about that one in order to clarify what I'm talking about. So that's exactly the thing. So what has happened here until year 2000, the efficiency and everything was there. Actually, the way that we have established the computers in our organizations was, first we invested into the ERP, and then all the spreadsheets, all these Microsoft products or similar Microsoft products. They helped us a lot to increase the efficiency. And that's the reason why efficiency has started increasing. We started learning them, we started using them in our businesses, which reduced the mistakes and which accelerated our ways of doing businesses. But whatever has happened afterwards has really started slowing down at all fronts and in all our companies. And we have started working so much. And until year 2000, I clearly remember I was managing many teams, and number one thing that I was talking was work-life balance. And it continued somewhere until 2005. still, because I saw that many things are coming. But after 2005, I don't know if you were going to agree with me, but majority of the C-level people started talking about, so if you love your job, then you work hard. So everybody stopped talking about this work-life balance stories. And people have accepted it and started working like hell. Until now, actually, until this virus have kind of shaken all of us, and which showed us the reality. It's not only about work. We cannot survive only by working extra times. There is this analysis which is made by economists, so you can see it as well at this address. So it claims, and I totally agree, to be honest, like 3 to 7% of automation has been done in a large company, which means major processes have been automated in large companies, but the amount is 3 to 7%. So is this a big deal? It's a huge deal, because this is where the companies put tremendous amount of money in order to set up their like core, like putting ERP packages for departments, and then putting lots of applications, high-level applications, so that employees can continuously working on them. But then the problem occurred. You know, majority of the employees started saying, hey, I have a problem. I can't get this report. I have difficulties in preparing this presentation. Why do I have to always look at this data and then put it into Excel, and then in Excel format it, and then put it into PowerPoint or transfer them to SAP, etc. Actually, majority of these questions or demands have been like addressed by the IT departments, but majority of them have not addressed. So as of today, we clearly see like close to 40% potential for automation, so that employees can stand up from their desks and start meeting face-to-face with their customers or among themselves. Or instead of, you know, creating all this data, what they can do is they can look at the generated reports, and, you know, they can make an analysis. You know, we white collars in business, we spend like 50% of our time working like robots, because we do so many repeated tasks, and we do so many mundane tasks, and even we don't get support from artificial intelligence. You know, we don't understand what exactly how artificial intelligence can help us in our businesses. But actually, you know, think about a few examples. If I start in a company, then the HR calls me to their department and asks me for some documents, and then the HR sits down and starts sending email to IT, pay this guy's salary to this account. Then to finance, then to IT, open this guy's email account. And then maybe they, you know, put all my information into the government's employment system, etc. Then they put into ERP. Maybe like after 15, 16 steps, you know, an email goes to all the employees, hey, this guy is joining our company. Everybody's telling him welcome. So if the next guy starts, HR is doing again the same thing, keeps repeating. This is not human approach. This is something that robots should be doing. They keep repeating the same thing. And if you think about what we are repeating, there are so many things. When I took over this job, like a little bit more than close to 2 years ago, I was impressed about the potential that the companies are asking us in terms of questions. For example, I was going to everywhere because I was the only one when I started in the company. I never forget. A guy called me from a bank and asked me, like, he was like in tears and under big depression, saying that every Thursday I have to create a PowerPoint presentation for my general manager, and I depend like to 20 people's data. And you know what we did was, in like very short time, we automated all of his PowerPoint presentation creation process, and instead of creating like 10 to 11 hours in one day, now he's creating his presentations every Thursday in 6 minutes, 31 minutes. And 6 minutes, 31 seconds by pressing just one button. Everything has been prepared for him. All they have to do is just kind of a check the beauty of the format, etc. And then there are, if we add like 40 to 7, let's say, there are 53% of, or let's say, processes which don't need to be automated. They're not going to pay back. For example, if I come to university I sit down with you, and then the person whom I'm visiting is, let's say, ordering for me a tea, and by calling the secretary, and secretary calling, let's say, the lady who's going to bring tea, this is a total process. There is no need to automate this in that following manner. For example, the moment I enter into university, my face is recognized, and then the calendars are searched. Okay, this is Tansu who has come. Okay, Tansu has a meeting with this person. So Tansu usually likes to drink tea. Then a signal going to the tea lady, or maybe in this case a robot, then robot bringing the tea. No need, because it's not going to pay off. That's the reason why, like close to 50, a little bit more than 50% processes don't need any automation. Organizations with over 1 billion in revenue that have begun their intelligent automation journey. Fewer than 10% of organizations have reached enterprise scales with intelligent automation. So we call it intelligent automation based on Ernst & Young's research. And so the companies are in a big competition in order to scale in terms of intelligent automation. So they want to run intelligent automation everywhere. Intelligent automation meaning automation with software robots with the support of artificial intelligence. Let me talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. So I wonder how would be your answers if I would have asked in front of you while we are sitting in a, let's say, in a room and doing an event, who can tell me the explanation of artificial intelligence? Usually the answers come so different, you know. Majority of the time we speak about artificial intelligence, but for the sake of my presentation and for the upcoming slides, I have to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. There's a poll appearing on my screen. I'm very sorry. Let me try to move it to the right so that because even if I close, it keeps appearing and it's closing my screen. So we go back to year 1996. Okay, this is a like milestone day. We heard about everywhere that Kasparov is going to meet against IBM Watson's machine, and you know, we were all excited. And you know what has happened? We have been watching live the coverage. Kasparov won the game against IBM Watson machine. And we said, okay, I mean, machines cannot beat any humans. So machines are not there yet. But then in 1997, IBM again announced. So they have improved the software and again, beating with Kasparov. So this time, something strange has happened. IBM Watson machine has beaten Kasparov. And that was like a big shock for majority of us in 1997. And that was the cover page of many magazines. Game over, Kasparov and the machine. For me, this was kind of a milestone where the whole public, everybody understood that machines are coming. Now, if we go back to this year, what has happened was, actually, IBM did an amazing job in putting tremendous amount of processors into this big machine, and then putting like the next 15 steps of moves from champions, from Kasparov, so that the machine can always forecast what would be the next 15 steps of any move that Kasparov was doing and any move that it's going to do. So it's really appreciated. But today, if we look, even our mobile phone, you know, I'm a good chess player. I sometimes have difficulty in winning against these chess programs in my mobile phone because they are not as strong as maybe the IBM Watson at that time. And you know, they're managing very difficult. We call this machine learning because machine learning is based on metadata and machine learning can predict the next steps. And there are tremendous amounts of machine learning. And the big story is machine learning is now adapted everywhere. I'm sure in the university as well, in many organizations, etc. I like few examples. Let me give you a few one. And they keep developing. One of them is this Chinese mobile application company called Smart Finance. It has been established like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And they managed to give to any Chinese a consumer loan up to $500 within 30 seconds. But the beauty is, and the most important thing is, 98% of these loans are paid back within 6 months. That's an amazing achievement. You know, there's an application. So the Chinese person starts giving, hey, I need a loan of $500. Maybe like it takes 1 minute or so, but within like 30 seconds, the loan is approved. How does it work? Actually, last year, the payments percentage, back payment percentage for 97, and this year it has increased to 98%. It analyzes like this year at 5,000 points if this person is eligible for this loan. Last year it was 3,000. So what kind of points? So it looks at the model of the mobile phone. It looks when this person is getting the salary. It looks at the contacts. Does this person have a reputable person? It jumps into LinkedIn connection. It jumps into Facebook link. By the way, these are really the connections that we are allowing to an application to look in our mobile phone. And then the location. So the date. I set the model of the phone, the memory of the phone, the battery of the phone. And then it looks, is there any games that this person playing? Is there any, let's say, gamble games, poker, etc., casino games? Is this person playing with cryptocurrency market, etc.? So a combination of all of this, the application decides. Every year, this application keeps learning, and then the people are increasing their and revising its algorithm. Okay, that was great. But then we started hearing about this guy called Demis Hassabis. And this guy is a very interesting guy. At his very young age, he started like when he was 8 years old, he started winning worldwide chess games and then buying his own computers. He's a very young graduate from university, like he was 15, 16 years old. And then he dedicates himself to brain study, neural studies. And then he goes and gets another master. And then he set up a company called DeepMind. And then the DeepMind is getting acquired in 2014 by Google. And he has only one dream. Can computers learn like the brain is learning and then behave like the brain does? And he keeps working on this technology. And this time year is 2016. And this guy that you see on the right, his name is Sedol Lee. He is the champion of the Go game. The purpose of the Go game is you kind of block areas. If, for example, this white here has blocked areas, the black then occupies areas. And at the end of the game, you calculate the squares, how many you were able to block. But the move here is like 10/70. Even I cannot pronounce in terms of this quadrillion, hexabillion, etc., whatever. So this guy teaches the computer, DeepMind, let's say DeepMind company, teaches the computer how to learn and how to think. And then in 2016 plays against Sedol Lee. And first game is won by the software, AlphaGo. And the second game won again. So he manages to beat 4-1 Sedol Lee. And Sedol Lee becomes very upset. But not only Sedol Lee, the whole China becomes very upset. And Chinese consumers demand that they want to see a very clear artificial intelligence policy from the government. And then the government announces in a very short time their policy, like to be the leader, to be like at par at 2025 in terms of artificial intelligence, and then 2030 to be the leader, worldwide leader. This is called deep learning. So we are talking where the computers can learn. Can you imagine what happens if the computers can learn? This means that we can teach to this computer or application anything that we want. This computer can do anything on behalf of us. If it can learn like a child, if it can learn like a person. And then this funny thing has happened. In year 2019, former Go champion beaten by DeepMind retires after declaring AI is invisible. So that was a big announcement. So I recommend, in case you want to develop your knowledge in artificial intelligence, the following information. Please watch AlphaGo, In the Age of AI documentary in YouTube, one of the best documentary. Then elementsofai.com training is one of the best trainings that I ever seen, which Finland has announced for its citizens, and it has been replicated in majority of the countries. Read book summaries from an application. I usually use Blinkist in order to continuously keep myself updated. In UiPath, we have bet on artificial intelligence. We have bet on process, which I told you already. And then we have bet on UiPath computer vision. Computer vision meaning that the computer software can read the screen like we can, a human can read the screen. So as a result, our company was established. I will skip this video. As of today, the company is actually addressing more than 5,000 customers, more than 60% of the Fortune 500 customers, and our number of customers keep increasing. The recent numbers, which I'm not putting into presentation, is more than 6,000 and more than 70% of the Fortune 500 companies. So we are in like 25 countries, and what we do is we are creating a platform which simulates hands and eyes of the human, and does repetitive tasks, and but benefits as well from artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is complex. I mean, when you talk about which application I'm going to use for artificial intelligence, but what we do is within UiPath, you simply drag and drop artificial intelligence just into the middle of the work that you are doing. So the company's evaluation as well has been increased over time. Now we became a $7 billion company in less than like 16 months, starting from February 2018. And hopefully next year we are going to be going to IPO. And we are seeing a company which is shaping the way that companies are really working for the moment. The company has as well established leadership, but I want to show you one thing. We keep receiving awards. For example, best company culture. Then 10 million ratings from employees at over 500,000 companies in the US. As you can see, UiPath has been rated as the number 2, ahead of Google, ahead of many companies that you know. Then we have been announced as the best place to work. Then we have been announced like world cloud companies. And then recently we have been announced like #1 growing company by Deloitte. Daniel Dines is our founder, who is from Romania, and he mainly founded UiPath in year 2015. The reason why I showed you all this one is the following. We became, in a very short time, one of the companies where the employees want to work. You know why? Because majority of the things which are very boring are done by our robots. In majority of the times, we don't sit at the office. I don't see really nobody in the office. And so as a result, these times that everybody have to work remotely is not like changing the way that we have been working, because robots do majority of the stuff on behalf of us. And what do robots do? They create my marketing report, they create my business presentations, they create many information so that we can access, or if we need information, then the robots, again, we tell the robots, then they create. Sometimes we receive emails in the company saying, like, let us introduce you to our new robot called Doron. If you send an email to Doron, he's gonna, he or she, whatever, gonna respond to you within like 10 minutes for any technical question, or if you want any technical person to come over to your country. That kind of environment is the company is working for. Now, I will show you a video. And within this video, you are going to see, and in the meantime, while you are seeing the video, I will read the questions because there have been many questions coming up, and I will try to answer them as well during the flow of my presentation. While you are watching this video, you are going to see many UiPath employees, but don't focus on them. Please focus behind the screens, be behind them on the screens. What's going on the screens? Okay, let's watch the video together.
Do you know why robots are here? So we are free to do the things we love. So we don't spend hours and days and weeks doing one tedious thing after another.
So we have time to think, to be creative, and pursue new ideas. What took hours now takes minutes. What was pretty accurate is now perfectly accurate.
Can you imagine what we humans can achieve if we are powered by that kind of speed and accuracy?
Robots automate display ads in Google AdWords in 3 seconds. I take 10 to 30 minutes. So what do I do with the extra time? I strategize, I write, I fine-tune audience targeting so the ad becomes more effective.
Robots update legal documents to the latest version at any point of time, so I don't have to. So I get more time to think of complex legal arguments that win.
Robots translate customer requests to English and route them accurately to me, so I can spend time offering the best response fast, rather than scramble for translations.
The truth is, this is the ultimate collaboration, robots and humans. Robots do all the boring backroom stuff, so we don't have to. We can dream big and push ourselves to be our best versions. We can create amazing new things and keep growing our people and our customers so that everyone progresses, everyone wins. We started as 10 people, and now we are the fastest growing enterprise software.
So this is exactly the environment that our company is working. So what we do is we can help any company or any institution, any government body to plan their automation journey and then how to measure it. So we provide end-to-end platform. Let me share with you what does it mean, okay? For example, these processes like login into application, connect system APIs, move files and folders, scrape data from the web, read and write to database, extract content from documents PDF, open emails, or make calculations. These are so standard processes. And we have like a big binder of recommendations, which processes you can really automate. And these are like many things which have done repeatedly. For example, do you know any finance manager in your countries which can, at the end of the month, on a Friday evening at 5 p.m., can, with a smiling face, leave the office? It's almost impossible because they are dealing with so many data. And there are human errors. The CFO has to continuously control the data before submitting to the CEO. But even if the company has the best of the best IT systems, then the third parties don't have the IT systems, and as a result, they have to do with the third parties. So what we do is, when it comes to automation, we do the following even. We started at the beginning. We say, for example, this is a procurement department, let's say, of a company. So here you see everything is moving. This is how we approach to the topic. We go first and sit down with all members of the procurement department, and we name by name, we identify them. And then we ask, so the A person, B person, C person, D person, E person, let's say in this case, how they are involved in the procurement. And then we map everything into our application. Because all the applications that the procurement department or in a company, people are using are lying on the servers, and they are leaving constant logs. But even we don't access these logs, but we directly access to the systems. And then we let the whole scheme, like as you see, like Visio maybe, running. And then we see the following. There is a problem. The B person, in average, is spending like 15 minutes for every invoice. This is way too much as compared to our knowledge. Or is there a way to reduce it? And then we click on this person, okay? And then you have another list. And you see immediately the number one invoices that this person is spending way too much time. Assume that we are identifying there is an invoice which comes from ABC, always takes 1 hour for this person, because this ABC company is not a good partner. They are never listening to us, and they're never sending their invoices in the format that we want. Or we understand that this person is maybe not very capable person. There are some invoices in the foreign language, and he can't understand. Or, for example, if you look to the third person, you see there is a small circle. This person, for a sec, issues the invoice to the next person, but then the invoice is not accepted by the next person. So again comes to this person and creating a loop at this person. For example, if we look to this person, you understand this person always needs an approval from somebody else, maybe from a manager, through email, so that he can progress. And this way, we keep installing the robots everywhere so that we can accelerate the whole process from end to end. So it's an amazing approach to any company, and the companies do really like this solution, and then they start their journey, all the process journey with the output of the system. What else we do? We work with like many artificial intelligence companies within our application. So if you want to do something, you just simply drag and drop. Let me give you an example. For example, sentiment analysis. Let's say it's from Google or from Korea AI, in case you want to it on site. We assign email address. Let's say customer feedback@company.com. And then we create the robot in a way that whatever email comes to this account first visits, let's say Google's or Korea AI sentiment server, sentiment artificial intelligence application. So the email goes into this application, and then the email is released from this application, from the service, and it's getting distributed to different channels. So the email has this time a subject a little bit information added in front to the subjects. It says this customer is an angry customer. This customer is interested in our products. This customer has a question. This customer wants to buy immediately. So accordingly, the email is distributed and split into different organizations. I'm not going to talk too long, but Microsoft Web Services, Google Web Services, Korea, and all the big companies keep developing artificial intelligence services. For example, let me give you one example. Google's vehicle damage estimator service. They have put 1.5 million photos of more or less all the cars in the world, which is a damage. For example, a Renault 1988 model, which has a, let's say, a damage in the shield, even the car is there. So if you establish an insurance company and if you are robots, you just simply drag and drop the Google service into our platform, and then you start it using, like you create this functionality, this service within like 5-10 minutes for your customers. The other thing is, we say a company is really there in terms of robots the moment the company's robots talk to the other company's robot and they start exchanging information. So this way, the whole environment is, let's say, robotized or automated, and we as white collars can use more our brain, our experience, and our knowledge in order to address our company issues. There are some examples about what our companies are doing. For example, SMBC, a company in Japan, 1 million hours of capacity to be generated by the end of this fiscal year, and more than 3 million hours in the next 3 years with more than 200 operations automated. Okay, now what I'm talking about. If you automate an operation, you don't fire employee. Actually, you gain additional work capacity. And what do you do with this employee? You move this employee into other department, or you move this employee into a other position by upskilling or by training this person's capabilities. This is another one. It is a very, very interesting approach by Ericsson. So in this case, Ericsson has a goal automating all repetitive tasks by 2021 for 100,000 employees. So what they are doing, they are giving a robot to each and every employee, actually a robot meaning, and our robot as an application, and the employees start creating their own robots. It's so easy. If you can use Microsoft Office, you can create own robot. Actually, you can create your own virtual assistant. Even you can make this virtual assistant to talk to you on WhatsApp or any messaging application. For example, you can send your robot a message saying that I want to go with my wife to a theater in the middle of the city. Is there any theater place around 8 o'clock? And the robot is going to behind the curtain, going to dive into your ticketing applications and so on, and then investigate, and they'll say, hey, here you have a few theater shows tonight at 8 o'clock, 8:30. Do you want me to buy for any of them a ticket? So you can use your own robot, anything. So this is what Ericsson is doing. So Ericsson is asking their employees, I don't want you to spend time on your desk, stand up and make your robots do the job for you. The other one is EY. So they are automating as well all their processes. So far, they announced 4.5 years of intelligent automation journey with 2,000 robots in production, and they keep working, and majority of the EY consultants or support functions are automating now their tasks with their robots. So let me talk a little bit about COVID-19 period. I think I was clear to talk to you right now until now. If not, you can ask me questions about what artificial intelligence means and what does our robots do. Let me tell you a little bit about COVID-19 period. So everybody thinks this is a temporary. Yes, some of the things are temporary, but as well, some of the things are not temporary. Why? Because history shows this way. In World War II, when women were joining the workforce, so why did they join the workforce? Because men were on the war, or men were killed during the war. So women jumped into the workforce, and thanks God they jumped, and then they stayed there. And then the other one is 9/11 attacks in New York. Then we started seeing stricter aviation security. At the airports, they keep checking our luggages, and then in our buildings, in our offices, in shopping malls. So we've seen an increase of security, even at our own apartments and homes. Or in 2003, when the SARS was affecting the whole world, in China, we have seen Alibaba is totally restructuring itself. And I strongly recommend you to Google it and to understand how Alibaba has structured themselves, or GD.com appearing. Again, during this SARS crisis, companies like Instagram, Slack, Venmo, WhatsApp have made tremendous amount of move. And actually, if you might remember, 2009 as a year was one of the worst time as well in terms of financial situation. There was a big financial collapse and recession in the world. So we call this inflection points, and we strongly believe that COVID is an inflection point as well. I strongly believe that there has been not such a great time to establish a new company, to add a new, let's say, department to your own company in terms of addressing the upcoming demand, or to align your company with the new standards. There are 5 things which the companies are doing and trying to foresee. One of them is constant business continuity risks, surges or drops in demand. They're trying to address the security risks because there are tremendous amount of now security attacks. Monitoring and reporting decision-making, workforce productivity are the 5 things that all companies are brainstorming. But one thing has become very clear. So this saying, which I took as a cartoon from Marco Toni's, digital transformation is years away. I don't see our company having to change anytime soon. Was unfortunately majority of the time a typical thing. Even the customers or the companies have been drowning really under the workload, and they're trying to survive the day. So what Gartner senior director says, the value of digital channels, products, operations is immediately obvious for companies everywhere right now. This is a wake-up call for organizations that have placed too much focus on daily operations at the expense of investing in digital business and long-term resilience. You know what's happening now? We see Amazon, Netflix, companies which were totally digitally ready, coming even stronger from this period and continuing their operations by generating multiples of revenues that they have never seen. Amazon is alone recruiting thousands of employees in order to address. And we see by all the companies, so this is Gartner, automation. We see IDC, extreme automation, intelligence everywhere, omni experience, again, hyper automation in order to survive this crisis. This is Accenture, number 2. Number 1, elastic digital workplace. Number 2, hyper automation. We see Everest Group, it's like among the number 2 item, I think. What will you do? Number 3, the number 4 item. What will you do after the crisis abated? So 47.4% of services buyers says we're going to focus on automation. And then we see from HFS Research, just announced 1 week ago, process automation, including RPA, will be in our center of attention. Then we see Wall Street Journal as a headline on 16th of April. CFOs look to ramp up automation investments amid pandemic. Then we see BCG talking about, now you have to have artificial intelligence in the center of your company. And of course, then I start reading. So when I see that BCG is not recommending automation, I say, how comes? But then when you see what BCG is talking about artificial intelligence, their recommendation is the following. As simple as a task. Ask the CEO or board members if they can identify at least 2 critical strategic processes where the consensus is that AI can make a real difference, an impact of 100 million. So they again talking about automation. So it's all about from now on processes. It's all about automating the processes. So what's happening in the countries? The countries are started going back to work. China, Germany, next week Israel, Sweden, etc. So there's a big optimism, and I hope it will be not like the 1918 flu, where people started going back to streets in December of 1918, and then all this flu story has lasted until the year 1920, killing more than 50 million of people and affecting more than 500 million people. We see China's announcement saying that we will be betting from now on online economy. The Digital Europe initiative from the European Commission has started appearing in the news, and it is again on three things, like the China is betting on three things. Number one, 5G speed of connection. Number two, artificial intelligence and automation. Number three, big data. This is how the countries are betting themselves on the future. Let me continue a little bit about unemployment and UiPath Academy. I will move this. We see very clearly one thing. By 2020, no less than 54% of all employees will require significant and upskilling. So we are zooming into 2022. There are still additional jobs, close to 130 million, and 60% of these jobs will be stolen by the robots, but the remaining is going to lead to humans. But there's a problem. 54% of these jobs cannot be done with the current skills. So we need to upskill our employees. So you can find this in the vForum's website, all this information. New jobs, RPA developers, citizen or RPA users, with all the countries that I operate, our customers are in need of these jobs, in need of these titles. They continuously working. And what we offer is a free UiPath Academy for LM. Sometimes I go and get as well. For the moment, I am getting a robot for every student classroom, for example. I'm already finishing the second week because it's amazing. It's so easy to use. Here you find all the courses, learning plans, technical plans, and community tutorials. Let me show a very quick video about
You already have a digital assistant on your phone. Why shouldn't you have one for school and work? You probably can picture this happening in the distant future, but we have some good news. The future is already here. Robotic Process Automation, or RPA, is transforming the way work gets done. And with a robot for every student program from the UiPath Academic Alliance, the only limits are your imagination and your creativity.
And how do all of these companies, all of these organizations advance their needs, transform their organizations? It's with what we are doing in this room. It's with RPA.
You have an incredible opportunity to challenge the world as you know it. The automation first era is all about freeing you from manual, repetitive work so you can focus on the things you love. Just let the software robots do the rest. How? You can learn how to build robots in school. RPA skills will make you stand out as a future professional. You can become an RPA developer or an in-demand business analyst. The sky's the limit for you. RPA is applicable to every industry, and well-paying jobs await. Robots can help you in school too. For example, you can conduct research more easily and even create your own unique data sets. You can search for financial aid or job opportunities, better organize your calendar and email, and you can even make robots check the weather for you. University students like you have already built software robots for all types of cool things, like fixing the worst part about internships, clicking slides forward.
Next page.
So, in order to cut the story short, a robot for every student training, something that you can get from our website. And so, and if you are another student, a career investment, career switch, you can take all of our courses for free. They are everywhere. And there is one thing based on the McKinsey and OECD study. So, in 2016 to 2030, the number one skill that we are going to look for in an employee is 60% technological skills. So it's not like social and emotional skills. You know why? That's the reason why I at the beginning explained to you all about artificial intelligence. Because deep learning is emerging and robots are emerging, and we still need our employees and the white collars to understand the technological skills so that they can help us in our companies. Let me finish my presentation with three messages. So it's a race towards fourth revolution to participation in the global economy, a robot for every person. And then it's a race to reboot your business. And then it's a race to reboot customer experience. So, and then it's a race to reboot work, to define the work from all sides. Thank you very much for listening to me. So in case there are no questions, I think it took a little bit more time. And I hope that you benefited from the information which I shared with you. And then I will try to answer any questions.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Tansu, for a very enlightening presentation and very interesting facts also, very, very interesting. So because we have some of the institutions are also connected here, 3-4 universities are also connected. Yeah. So I think I would just start with the 2 questions, and then some of the participants also asked those questions. Sure. Number 1 is that how the universities can get to this IRPA program. We are in UCA is one of, I think, the first one in Central Asia who are partnered with UiPath, and we are very happy with that. But can you just explain in 1 minute how other universities can partner with UiPath, number 1? And number 2 is in this lockdown period where everyone is at home, how they can learn their robotic skills while sitting at home. Can you just give them some tips?
Okay, so I will let Vlad answer the first one. I'm experienced, but Vlad is managing all of our worldwide operation for universities. So we, thanks to him, we run it as well in some countries within my region. And but for the second one, if you just access on our website and go into UiPath Academy, I strongly encourage. It's so fun. You know, I would never guess that I would spend my 4 weeks of 16 hours to create on my own virtual assistant. It's like step-by-step instructions, very nice training, I think very valuable. And I would recommend everybody to go into our website, into UiPath Academy, developer UiPath Academy, and enroll to the develop your virtual assistant training. Vlad, why don't you answer the first question?
Going back to universities, sorry, so each university that wants to join the Academic Alliance has to go on our website on uipath.com/academic alliance. There is a registration form which is quite simple, in which any university from this world can join up. And after this, all your students can receive free software licenses, a free curriculum. The curriculum can be delivered either in class, but considering these times, we have online alternatives for distance learning. I will write to you my email in the chat as well, so you can follow up with me at any point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vladimir, and thank you for arranging this also, Vladimir, to you and UiPath. So one of the questions which we are seeing in the chat box is that how this UiPath robotic automation is different than the physical robots, and then how we can feel that there is a robots.
Yes. It's a very nice question. Actually, how I call is, so as part of my presentation, I think I forgot to mention one thing. I talk about fourth industrial revolution and some definitions. Now it's becoming very clear. Most probably, like within a few years, we will call fourth industrial revolution, especially because of the COVID, it's on artificial intelligence, okay? Artificial intelligence and the robots are not two different things. Robots are mainly steel and a silicon face, but artificial intelligence and our software is the soul of the robots. So they're complementary. Actually, what our robots are doing, you can make it, you can ask a robot to do it as well. But in order to make a robot to do the same task, teach the robot, you have to pay maybe millions of dollars, which is useless. Of course, nobody's going to do this. Instead, you can teach it to our application. And maybe it might, for some of the curiosity, let me tell you how we are creating a robot for you, for example. So I'm sitting next to you and you tell me, Tansu, I need to create a robot. Can you help me? And I'm next to you, by the way. I'm gonna help you, by the way. And then I tell you, what is that you want to turn into a robot? You tell me one thing, and I say, okay, we can create that one, no problem. Can you please show me on the screen? And then you show me on the screen. This is how I do always. I open, I don't know, for example, email, this folder, I look at the data, I open the PDF file, then I look at the data, put it into Excel, and then create a PowerPoint. Fine, that's something that our robots can do. And let's do the following. Allow me please to install UiPath Studio on your PC. And then you approve it. I say, okay, then please now again show me what you are doing. While you are this time doing, a square appears on your screen, actually. It's like Matrix movie. Small circles keep understanding your screen like our eyes is seeing everything. And then everything is finished. Once you did everything, your robot is ready. It's that fast for simple robotic stuff.
Excellent. Another question is, Tansu, what are some of the robotic that could be used for schools? How do they help students and teachers to interact online? Can the robots replace the instructors?
Nice. We are working as well with many universities here in my region, and I'm sure Velat is going to add these comments. I have very clearly seen, for example, it takes tremendous amount of burden in terms of dealing with the tremendous amount of data. For example, universities have to register constantly or inform the governments about the teachers that they're working with in terms of employment. Robots do this in Bahçeşehir University in Turkey by registering 4,000 university teachers every month, which used to take like 15 days before, and done by 4 people. Now they are doing it in 15 minutes. Robots can communicate with the students in a very smart mode. For example, what you can do for any university is, and I like this when companies do this, to be honest, and we offer this service as well. You put a chat box, let's say, as an application. Of course, your students and even sometimes parents maybe, or any applicant might have questions. Actually, the chatbot is connected via different UiPath robots to many of your systems, and it immediately gets the data and answers, and taking a huge burden, speeding up every year enrollments, etc. Can they replace the teacher? To be honest, what I see, and I don't know if Vlad would agree, and by the way, this is my personal, let's say, knowledge, but I have like 4 teachers in my family, and many of my friends are professors from esteemed universities. I see that everything is moving, especially with the COVID, into blended learning, where we talk about like robots teaching to the students at home, but then the discussion continues online or in the class with the professors, which cannot be replaced by the robots.
Yeah, thank you.
Small comment here. So robots cannot, as Tansu said, they cannot replace educators, but they can replace part of the educator's tasks that are now related to teaching. So a lot of professors, they use robots to take over the admin work they need to engage with students. So processing all the exams, processing all the grades, sending reports to the administrative staff of the university. These are things that professors don't actually enjoy doing. They want to focus on interaction with students and in providing lectures. This admin work can be replaced by robots.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we can take the last question because of the time, and that is the question is how these robots look like, and isn't that simply a macro like MS Excel? Was that the start of RPA?
Okay, I mean it's a good analogy. If we can create the following analogy: Excel macro was working on Excel platform. Okay. Now our robot works across all the platforms, across all the applications, but having said it like this will really undervalue all the things that we are doing. But I mean, as an analogy, just to clarify, but our robots go and grab artificial intelligence services and they make use out of it. For example, if you remember, when a cargo is coming, let's say to a port, a person was moving all around the containers, looking at the dice and taking a note. Afterwards, the mobile phones have been developed. Now, then they started taking a photo of all the containers, if there's a damage, etc., reporting. But, you know, with our robots, for example, you can use Microsoft Camera artificial intelligence service to look at the containers and then immediately see and recognize which containers have damage, and then create the report and send the report, let's say, to the receiving party, who's gonna kind of not accept, let's say, damaged containers, etc.
Thank you very much, Tansu, and thank you, Vladimir, for arranging this talk. I think with that, I would like to just thank you and then all the participants who have attended. I just want to remind you all that we have recorded this session, and then this will be available on University of Central Asia's YouTube channel in a couple of days. So you will revisit and then see what has been said in this session. So with those words, I look forward to welcoming you, Tansu, in Bishkek once the situation is normalized. And thank you for your time, and thank you everyone for attending this session.